Have you ever noticed how obsessed you are with someone when you first meet them, but then just a few months later, even their cute quirks suddenly start to feel like glaring red flags? Or how you'll binge a Netflix show you genuinely enjoy, only to find yourself opening a second one halfway through because it just seems newer, maybe better. There's a name for this very human behavior, and it involves chickens. Yes, chickens, and one of the quietest U.S. presidents in history, Calvin Coolidge. Today, we're diving into a bizarre but incredibly powerful psychological effect that explains why we crave new things, even when what we already have is just fine. The story goes like this. President Calvin Coolidge and the First Lady were visiting a government-run farm. They took separate tours. During her tour, Mrs. Coolidge noticed a rooster that was, let's just say, extremely productive, mating with the hens. A lot. Curious, she asked the farmer, "How often does that happen?" The farmer said, "Dozens of times a day, ma'am." She smiled and said, "Tell that to the president." Later, when President Coolidge came by, the farmer shared the story. Coolidge raised an eyebrow and asked, "Is it the same hen each time?" The farmer replied, "No, sir, different hens." Coolidge smirked and said, "Tell that to Mrs. Coolidge." And just like that, science had a name for one of the most deeply wired behaviors in the animal kingdom, the Coolidge Effect. So, what is it? The Coolidge Effect is a biological phenomenon where an animal, or human, becomes sexually or behaviorally re-energized by novelty. In plain English, even after you're completely bored or exhausted with something, you can be instantly re-engaged the moment something new enters the picture. It's been observed in rats, monkeys, roosters, and, yes, humans. Scientists ran experiments where a male rat was introduced to a female. They'd mate, then he'd rest. Eventually, he'd lose interest. But the moment a new female rat was introduced, boom, interest was back, as if the previous 45 minutes never happened. Swap the lab rats for dating apps and you start to see where this is going. Let's bring this back to you and me in the 21st century. Here are 4 places where the Coolidge Effect secretly runs the show. Number 1, dating apps. Swipe left, swipe right, swipe, swipe, swipe. Dating apps are literally engineered around the Coolidge Effect. The endless scroll of new faces gives your brain a dopamine hit every time. Not because the person is a better match, but because they're new. Ever gone on a date with someone great, but then thought, what if there's someone better just one more swipe away? That's not your standards talking. That's biology. Number 2, streaming services. Netflix, YouTube, Disney+, whatever your poison. The moment your show slows down, or your current video hits the 5-minute mark, the temptation to jump to something new kicks in. Ever notice how thumbnails for the up next video look way more interesting than what you're watching? That's your novelty-craving brain hijacking your attention. Number 3, consumer shopping. The new iPhone? Not that different from the one you already own. But it feels better because it's shiny, new, and wrapped in marketing that whispers, "This will fix your life." The Detox effect, remember him? Tells us why one new purchase leads to a cascade of others. But the Coolidge effect is what makes you crave that new thing in the first place, especially when the old one still works. Number 4, relationships. Long-term relationships are beautiful. They're also, well, sometimes less exciting than the early honeymoon phase. The Coolidge effect explains why excitement fades and why some people chase spark after spark, relationship after relationship. It's not that love died. It's that novelty got replaced by familiarity. If that's depressing, don't worry. We'll talk about how to outsmart it later. Let's get nerdy for a second. What's happening in the brain? The Coolidge effect is driven by dopamine, the neurotransmitter that fuels motivation and desire. When we encounter something new, our dopamine spikes, pushing us to explore, try, and engage. The key word here is new. Dopamine doesn't necessarily reward what's better. It rewards what's different. It's why scrolling on TikTok feels addictive, even when you're not enjoying any particular video. You're chasing the next thing, not enjoying the current one. This creates a feedback loop. 1. You get excited by something new. 2. You engage with it. 3. It becomes familiar. 4. Your interest drops. 5. You seek something new again. Repeat forever, unless you break the cycle. The Coolidge effect shows up throughout history. Ancient kings had harems of hundreds of women, often not out of greed, but to keep stimulation alive. Roman emperors constantly changed foods, artists, and entertainment to escape boredom. Marketers in the 1950s realized that labeling products new and improved increased sales, even when they were the same formula. Humans have always craved novelty. We just didn't have infinite scrolling back then. Here's where the Coolidge effect can mess you up. It's not bad to like new things. But when you only chase novelty, you risk addiction to stimulation, always needing something new to feel alive. Relationship sabotage, leaving good people because the spark faded. Chronic dissatisfaction, never enjoying what you have because you're chasing the next thing. Your brain was designed for scarcity, not TikTok. We're overwhelmed by options now, and your ancient dopamine system hasn't caught up. So how do you fight back against the Coolidge effect? Here are a few tips. 1. Introduce novelty into the familiar. In relationships, this means new experiences, not new people. Date nights, surprises, travel, games. 2. Use intentional limits. Set a timer on social media. Limit choice overload. Boredom isn't always bad. It creates space for real focus. 3. Practice contentment. Sometimes the next new thing isn't better. It's just new. Recognizing this can keep you grounded and grateful. The Coolidge effect is part of our biology, but it doesn't have to run your life. Remember, your brain might crave sparks, but real fire? That's something you build. So next time you're bored of your phone, your partner, or your playlist, ask yourself, is it really worse or just not new? If you enjoyed this deep dive, like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because I have a fresh new video coming up next week. And yes, it's a brand new topic.